administration. Now I'm the education director at Capital Arts Workshop, which is why I've been seeing a lot more art where I work now than in Arlington. But I did connect with my liaison group, one of my 2 liaison groups around Christmas when they had a big event. Most recently, I got to see Commedia Romeo and Juliet, produced by Faction of Fools, which I thought was very good. It got rave reviews. A concert of really sort of bluegrass rock by a guy named Ramblin' Dino, who is also writing a musical about Davy Crockett that will be produced somewhere in the area soon. And 2 arts exhibits. One was Cotton Flower by Paula Mans, which has to do with the African-American female experience interpreted through visual art. And now there's one called Girl Math, which is by Sarah Jameson, who's also shown at the Smithsonian, at the Folklife Festival, and at one of the other museums. It might be, I don't remember, it does modern art as well as, old art. So, and I'm working with Artomatic, which is eating my life, which is another reason I'm not seeing a lot recently. It opens a week from Friday.
DC.
It's in DC this time. It's the 2100 MC. Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's been in, if you don't know what Artomatic is, it's been in Arlington a lot, though it did start out as a DC entity. I won't tell you about it now because it's other people's time. Buttonhole me later if you want to know.
I'm Michelle Isabel Stark. I'm the Director of Cultural Affairs, and I do have a background in dance, and I did go to the tango concert with National Chamber, which actually inspired me to take tango lessons. So thank you.
That's how that's supposed to go, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I also tap dance, and I work here and I live here.
My name is Mark Borowski. I am from Arlington. Now I'm from Arlington. Also with the federal government for almost 30 years. I'm an Army Reserve officer. I don't really have a background as much as it seemed as your background. I'm a dabbler, so paint a little bit. Lately, I've been doing more artesian style work. One of the things that I've been doing, I don't have an assignment, but I've been working with veterans groups to try to kind of show them. I make arrows, bows and arrows, showing them how to kind of do the woodworking skill to kind of give them a resiliency event. So instead of thinking about dark things, maybe you give them something to do, you show them a skill. So, if you're sitting there fletching an arrow, you can sit in front of the TV with a yarn and just kind of have a therapeutic event. So those are things that I've been working on. Besides, like I talked to you guys at the party, working on my project to try to beat that butterfly from last time. But again, being a dabbler, happy to be here. Glad to meet everybody.
Alyssa Tope. I'm an architect and urban designer. I've been pretty busy with various arts things over this last month, mostly via connecting with my 2 liaison groups. So one of which is Sushmita, who runs Studio Pause on Columbia Pike, which I highly recommend visiting if you have not. She's highlighting a lot of different artists around Arlington and giving them space to show their work, which is fantastic, and also hosts a lot of community night groups as well. And then also my other liaison group is the Arlington Players, who when we had our meet and greet last month, and one of the new county board members, Susan Cunningham, came. She and I happened to be talking to them at the same time and really expressed, I had never seen the Scene Shop, and Susan really wanted to see the Scene Shop. So we figured we'd set up some tours where everyone could see the Scene Shop. And to a lot of you might have seen my emails. I didn't have the new commission members yet.
I meant to say, I did that. Thank you for
the other week.
Is it too late now?
Well, it was actually going to be too late. The last one was supposed to be tonight. I still went tonight, but the board members had a last minute conflict. So there's actually it's now rescheduled for Friday, March 15th at 4 p.m. If that happens to work for anyone's schedules who wants to join, you're more than welcome.
I recommend it. It's worth it. I
yeah.
have seen it before, so.
And anyone who's interested, you can either just show up at the Scene Shop then, or if you want a slightly more formal thing, I can give you my email so you can feel confirmed you're going.
The emails were emailed out
today.
Yeah.
Oh, I did. Yes, I saw them here.
I think I might have missed you.
Sharon, you really don't like me,
I
do you?
don't know what happened, but I'm gonna resend it because we have another change anyway.
Perfect.
So I'll be resending.
You have the email from me that had the.
You have everybody else's. They don't have yours. I will send everybody yours. Though.
Yes. So yeah, if anyone's interested, I know it's a weird time, but if it happens to work for your schedule, And if there's like a large enough group interested in going at a maybe more normal time, let me know, and I can try to make that happen as well. I think that's it.
Hello, I'm Sonali Suneji. I have a relatively new job with the Tyson's Community Alliance. And so it's a small nonprofit and doing different things to help Tyson's become a more vibrant place. And one of the reasons why I'm saying goodbye to this commission. But I have been the chair of the Public Art Committee. And actually several things happened recently that I've been involved with. One was we had a tour of the Capital One campus, which is in the Tyson's area. And Susanna Hayward Dunn.
She led the tour.
Yes, she led the tour. She's on the Public Art Committee and as an Arlington resident, and it was just amazing. Like this was not really, it's not a public, place. We were escorted. There were certain things that we were shown. We were not allowed to go wander around all over. There was all this other art that we didn't see, but what we saw was really, really cool. So I'm so glad we did that.
And I think they do tours with some amount of frequency if anyone else was interested in going. They have an amazing collection.
Yeah, and it's really mainly for the people that work in the building and or their clients. I suppose it's the international headquarters of Capital One. So they, made it really pretty. And the best thing was that the architecture was also planned or designed along with the art collection. So there are spaces that were actually designed for certain pieces, which really, really are amazing. And with Alyssa and me both having an architecture background, we really appreciate it. All right, enough of that. The other things I went to a show by a small upcoming sort of theater company called First Stage that is based in the Tyson's area.
Yeah, they're very good.
So yeah, and their space is kind of interesting too. But anyway, it's not an Arlington related thing, but I just thought I'd mention it. But also we had, because I was on the Public Art Committee, I was part of the Technical Advisory Committee or something for the Bosman Center art piece, the sculpture that is being, is in design. And so it's pretty much, it's ready for sort of final review, and so it's coming to the Public Art Committee on March 6th. So.
Can I ask you a question about that real quick?
Yes.
Were they able to adopt the community feedback into the design of that project?
Yes, it was an elaborate process of, so the artist is not local, so he was kind of learning about about Arlington through several conversations, and then there was that survey that you may have seen, where people were invited to share their routes and their places of where they go. So it's actually transportation turned into an artwork, which for me was oh, this is really cool, right? So it has a layer of the metro system, and then the middle layer is sort of these paths that people, local Arlington residents, whatever, sort of talked about where they go, and so that's been incorporated in, and then the airspace and the flight paths. So it's kind of a layered thing. And it's a hanging sort of a sculpture that you can view within the lobby of the Bosman Center from various angles, right? So there's a second story, or you could be up above the sculpture and see and look at it, or you can be at the ground level and at the lobby level and be looking at it from underneath. So yeah, so it's all kind of coming together, and it's sort of works in conjunction with Lynn Meyer's. Sorry, you were on the same committee, right? So maybe I can ask you to also share your.
You're doing a great job. If you've never been into Bosman, Lynn Myers did the etching on some of the conference room glass, and so years ago, right, 2009.
Yes, it's been a while.
And so with this new renovation, she's been invited to work with Kip Kobayashi to unify their pieces so that she'll continue to, she's created etchings for the new glass on some of the conference rooms.
It's a film.
A film? Oh, it's not.
Yeah, it's a film, but it's meant to continue the etching, right? That kind of,
It had that look.
yeah.
It has the look, sorry. But then, yeah, so you did a great job. You have to see it. The designs are just preliminary, right? Like they still have to do but they still have to do like the final engineering.
Yeah, the engineering's not complete, the
Yes.
design's complete.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said there were some smaller decisions that were left in terms of exactly like the sheets and colors
Yes.
that they were picking and all that stuff, so, yeah.
I am Yiğit Çakar. I'm a painter, oil painter and illustrator. Back in the day, I dabbled in public service, but in Turkey, like Istanbul. Last month, art-wise, I did everything in DC. I went to almost all the Smithsonian's to get some inspiration because I'm working on a project and I just do that as a part of my life. And I attended DC's art commissions events a couple of times. They piqued my interest. Said I don't do anything here in Arlington. I'm looking forward to change that for the next one. And yeah, I'm currently working on a 7 painting piece, 7. So it's just takes a lot of time of my time and life. So yeah, that's
Oils, watercolors, oils.
We're happy to have you.
Thank you.
I'm Adam Green. I'm a musician by trade, percussionist. I just concluded my 21 years in the Air Force Band a couple months ago, which is very exciting. And then I'm now working for an organization that is an implementing partner for the State Department in their cultural diplomacy programs, to include the American Music Abroad program, which is a wonderful historic program where we take American musicians and send them abroad to tour different parts of the world, usually countries emerging from conflict and isolation and that kind of thing. But another program is the Arts Envoy program, which is a much broader program that does a similar thing, but includes visual art, theater, literary art, culinary arts, all the arts, Arts Envoy, and does the same thing where we take something that's uniquely American and share that with cultures, not just share, but exchange that with other communities. So that's been a really exciting thing. And then locally, this past month has been a lot of meetings and meeting with people, which is exciting. Not as exciting as going to concerts, of course, but I've had a great couple connections with some of our local leaders. Susan Cunningham, our board liaison. I attended the CivFed Arts meeting. Is that the correct title? CivFed Arts?
Civic Federation is the umbrella organization, and we're a committee. It's called the Arts and Culture.
Can you explain what Civic Federation is for people?
So the Arlington County Civic Federation is over 100 years old. They've been in the county before it was Arlington. They started as a group where civic associations would convene and just talk about the planning and things like that. And then it just spread to other nonprofit organizations in the county. So, they address things like stormwater and flooding and all aspects of the county manager's budget. And one of the committees is Arts and Culture.
Are you chairing that stuff?
I'm co-chairing. I have Sandy Chesrin as my co-chair.
So I highly recommend these meetings. It's very engaging, lots of great perspectives, and most importantly, they had wine and cheese. Such. And there's several former Arts Commission members that are a part of that, which I thought was very exciting. Lots of people are very excited, very enthusiastic. I feel like we're all in good hands with support from our former commission members, but also the arts organizations around here. Unfortunately, you remember that big snowstorm that we didn't have on that Saturday? that was the Mother Language Day that ran its big recognition that's organized by Prio. And that was canceled because of the snow that didn't happen. So that'll get rescheduled, but that was an opportunity where I was going to go and share and talk there and be a part of that. So that'll get rescheduled. And then when it comes back to me, I'll talk about some of these other things because they're not quite so much about arts updates.
I'm Lucy Bowen-McCauley, dancer, choreographer, was the founding artistic director of Bowen-McCauley Dance. For those of you who don't know, it's a 25-year organization in Arlington. And so we wound that down about 2 years ago. I'm very committed to dance for Parkinson's disease, which I'm a certified instructor, and I train teachers and I teach quite a few classes in the whole Metro DC area, as well as some other teaching. And I'm passionate about the arts, so I'm here and on the board of Dance USA, things like that. So I saw National Chamber Ensemble, and for full disclosure, I premiered a tango dance there, so I had some dancers there as well. And I saw Private Jones at Signature Theater. It's it's a world premiere musical. Signature continues to just deliver, I think, over and over, so that was great. And I did the Civ Ed Arts meeting with Tina.
Hi, I'm Griha Singla. I am a singer, and I am the equity chair and the vice chair. This month, I was on a call with Adam, with Susan Cunningham, which I assume you will talk through.
Talk a little bit more,
Yep. And so that was a really great conversation, I thought. And then I got to see your performance, and
Thank you.
the music was stunning, and it was just delightful to see your choreography. I'm actually in the middle of a ton of rehearsals. My chorus is in DC, but we've got 3 separate performances over the next couple of months. So we're trying to just put as many rehearsals as possible all together at the same time. So yeah, that's
Are you going to really exciting places too?
I am, yes.
Could you share that?
Share the name of your chorus.
I'm in the Washington chorus, and we're about 200 people, so there's a lot of us. And I'm going on vacation in June to Argentina, to Chile, and to Easter Island.
Yeah. Singing your way through.
I am, yeah, it's a choir trip, yes. That should be fun.
I think that sounds so great.
It is great, it's wonderful. Are we done?
I'm Sharon Raphael. I work for Cultural Affairs, so I am the liaison to the Arts Commission, and I manage our grant program as well, and I work on cultural equity initiatives within Cultural Affairs. My background is singing also, so musical theater was really my thing, and that's it. I'm here to support you.
Thank you. So earlier in the month, I was able to attend this Arlington in 2050 event that was hosted by the county board. Libby Garvey hosted, and it was a collection of a couple hundred people. It was held at the HQ2 building, which is kind of cool. So it was a great chance. It's actually the second chance to get there and see it, but it was fantastic. It's a very interesting space. And part of that process was getting feedback from the people that were there. These are a combination of local leaders as well as just people that are passionate about the community. It's not just about the arts. They had 4 panel members, kind of 2 doomsdayers and 2 2 uplifting people. Not really. It was like a climate assessment. It was one of the Capital Weather Gang folks. What do you think? And then
Was he a doomsayer?
I said he was a doomsdayer because it's all about climate change, how the sky's falling, which is important. But so he spoke. It was really actually quite interesting. A person that was an expert on demographics and people and population movement and stuff like that, which is also kind of like in the doomsday category. And then there was a person from Amazon and the president of Georgia Basin. Those were more focused on the growth that's happening and our youth, which is very exciting. So they spoke. They all had a great thing to say. And then there was an exercise, which I want to have us do as well. And so they had these postcards, and essentially what they were is this is a postcard from the future that you write from the future back to yourself. So this is in the year 2050, and you're living in Arlington, and you're like, this place is amazing, and you're gonna write yourself a postcard to yourself now saying what it looks like in 2050. And so they went around the room, all like 20 banquet tables, and each table read like highlights from their postcard. And thank you. And then what was interesting was there was a theme, because a lot of the themes were reflecting what they were speaking about, whether it's the movement of people migrating around the state and the area and all those different things, climate change, there was stuff about technology, and there's stuff about education. And what they all kind of had a thread of in common was this idea of pride in their community. And several of them had specifically talked about the arts. But what I took from it was how the idea that, you know, having pride in your community is really all about celebrating the arts and celebrating what you're proud of as a cultural sort of identity. And of course, mine was like all about how much of a vibrant arts community we live in. But it was very interesting. So I encourage you to do this. What you do is you do this, you can drop it at any library, or you can scan the QR code and it'll just go right. And somebody in the county board will read every postcard. Right? That's their commitment. So it'll get read, it'll get looked at, and it's up to us to sort of participate in it if you want to or not. Who knows what apparently this took place 30 years ago. They did one of these in the late 90s, I think, where it was like a visionary thing about what the county looks like in 2020, I think.
That was not 30 years ago. Does it get fed into the
When was it?
comprehensive? Said that was not 30
Oh, yeah,
years
right.
ago. Does it get fed into the comprehensive plan in any way, or?
No, it's just it's just like an awareness thing.
Yeah.
They for sure are. I mean, they're all reading it. I mean, this is all the board members were there. I had at our table. Who's the new board member?
Maureen.
She was at our table. She was very enthusiastic about it. She's has an arts background, and we had a nice little chat. But all the board members were there. It was a very positive environment. So I just want to bring it to your attention, and hopefully we can all participate, and maybe even take a few extras and share them with your friends and family. And you can pick these up at any library.
And you can fill it out digitally also.
Right. Yeah. So that was great. So let's see. Griha and I spoke to Susan Cunningham. I had a really nice chance to talk with her directly, and the idea was to get a feel for what her priorities are, what she's thinking, and build a relationship with her so that we can continue a talk and foster this relationship. What the takeaway I got from it, and maybe Griha can talk a little bit about it too, but she had her priorities. These are published, so it's nothing new that we learned, but her 3 priorities were, number 1, housing, growing and planning to keep a community for affordable housing. The second one was youth. She has a background in establishing programs for youth, but specifically like connectivity amongst children and, emerging from the social isolation of COVID and kind of doing that. So that's part of her priorities. And then the third one is about a government that works well and efficiently, which is nice. But that was something that she felt compelled to talk about. And then we had a chance to just talk about how we want to talk about growing the arts funding for this, and asking her really like how they want to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
And she had some nice comments to say. I'm sure not so important right now, but the first time that this is going to come up is March 7th, which is when I will have like a 5-minute window to talk as part of these all the commissions get together and are heard in front of the board for what they're doing. So that's soon. That's in like a week and a half. And what I've been doing is just collecting lots of information, data on where we are with our arts funding and things like that, and then as well as reached out to several of our grantees and past grantees to get testimonials, just some real world impact statements on what this program does, what this money actually does in the community. And I'll plan on kind of getting this organized and presenting it on the 7th, but it's not going to be real pitch to like say, give us more money. That's just a longer game plan. And I think that it's in play because Susan Cunningham is very open in terms of just listening, and that's as good as we can hope for, I think, in terms of just people that want to participate. Just by chance, it sounds like you've run into her a couple of times. I've probably run into her 3 or 4 different times this month, just at these types of events. She was at our
She
meeting.
came to the scene shop.
She's scene shop.
Is she our liaison?
She is, yeah, which is why I was meeting with her. So they're there. She was there. I saw her at the Arlington 2050 thing. The week before that was the opening of the MoCA art little house at HQ2. So she's engaged. She's a part of it. I'm excited. Yeah. I think it's a really positive step, and it's a good connection.
She also went to the educational theater, something with educational theater, and they were very surprised. So she's all in on.
Yeah, it's great. You mentioned just a couple of housekeeping things. Do you want to talk about the Public Art Committee? I know you mentioned it already. So Sonali's, she's made it sound like she's leaving the Arts Committee, but she's served for 3 years on this commission. She'll be here next month. Do you plan on being here? We still have 1 more month with her, but she's just at the end of her term. So we'll talk more about that next month. But that's a chance for her to pass the baton of the chair of her Public Art Committee over to Alyssa. So thank you for that. That's going to be a nice little easy exchange, and since we've got this time to spin her up and get things going, so that's good. Looking ahead to next month, we talked briefly about possibly moving it a week earlier because it's spring break week in Arlington and Fairfax. Could you see a show of hands if we were to do it on the March 20th, would that negatively impact anybody?
Lucy and I.
Tickets to a show.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we're going to company.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but the 27th is fine for me.
So we'll workshop
Send a
that.
doodle maybe the day before or the day after that. We'll
The
just send
19th to the 21st.
Of that week.
Yeah.
Is it school, what is it, a spring?
Spring
Spring
break.
break is the week before.
Oh, I see.
So
No, it
it'll-
matters is,
I can't do Tuesdays, but otherwise any of the days you said were.
so I'll put
I'm
it,
gonna send a doodle.
Yeah.
Full out, if that's okay.
March
Says that,
21st.
and then
Rather
we'll
than
just go with what we could get for.
March 21 looks okay, Thursday.
Okay.
You could be there.
I'm just gonna make a note.
Okay.
To send a doodle poll out.
great. Let's see.
I can't do the 21st, but we can get a staff member to do it.
We
I don't think
need
I
you.
I have to check. But
That's all. I was going to talk about this Artomatic thing, but maybe there's a chance to talk about that now or later. Only because it's got I know not an origin here in Arlington, but as it's been advertised on the radio the past couple of weeks, they're talking about how it's been in Arlington.
It's been in Arlington as much as it's been in DC, I believe.
So would you like to share anything
Say
else?
Sure.
Yeah.
Artomatic is a really large pop-up arts event that takes place usually for 6 weeks, this time for 8. The Artomatic group gets a building. We have to find a building that's either about to be torn down or about to be rehabbed. I think in one case it was brand new though. Then we get the use of the building and we do a lot to it, insure it, all that. So it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then for usually 6 weeks, but this time 8, you can go in for free. It's always free. There's art all through the building. Sometimes there's art in great big installation spaces. There's also art in what used to be offices, little rooms. Get a list of the people you want to see. There's like a map, and you can go find the different art, the different visual artists, all kinds of artists, unjuried, everything from traditional paintings and sculptures, well, no marble, to interesting little invented pieces with toys and pieces of watches. There's jewelry, there's fabric art, there's glass. There's also a performing arts component, which, surprise, surprise, I'm on that committee. And we have, yes, we have 35 different artists, some of them performing more than once on the cabaret stage. And I haven't counted the electric or global stage yet. My friend Mac is spearheading that, but we both have a hand in the organization and creating of the stage management logs. So just about every Friday, Saturday, and most Sundays, though not Easter, because we figure a lot of people will be doing religious things, you can go down to Artomatic, see free art, hear or see some kind of performance. We had dance, music, magicians, poets, storytelling, 3 staged readings of plays, and things like the Human Noisemaker, you know, some weird stuff, which you'll probably love if you're here.
I know what a human noisemaker is, but what is he?
I don't know. He needs a mic, and he takes suggestions from the audience. We also have someone who wants to take suggestions from the audience in a non-lewd sexual exploration way. And we said, darn, because we were actually hoping to get burlesque on Saturday nights and call it Artomatic After Dark. But so far, sadly, we have no burlesque for late nights. So it's all pretty, you know, family oriented, or at least it might be over the kid's head. But
Which building this year?
2100 M Street. It is huge. It's the Golden Triangle. You might say it's sort of the edge of the West End.
Yeah.
It is so big that we aren't actually using all of it. We have 1,000 artists, but we could have accommodated even more.
Wow.
We usually get 1,000.
Can we all be on the mailing list for this?
There is no mailing list, but I can get you on the email list.
I meant the email list.
We're way too hip for, I'm probably the only person that remembers mailings and zip codes and little dots to the different, never mind.
We all want to know about it.
Absolutely.
What are the date ranges that it's happening?
March 8th through April 28th. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Most of the good stuff happens Thursday through Sunday. But if you're downtown on Wednesday, you just want to see visual art, come on by.
Thank you.
When do you sleep?
Just kidding.
Rita, would you like to add anything to?
The only thing that I would add is just the conversation with Susan. I thought she made some really good kind of detailed points that I think would help us in the future. So we asked her, one of the questions we asked her was, how does the county board operate in terms of interpersonal relationships? And she provided some insight saying that it's actually a group of individual actors. So the conversations they have are either super formal, like formal presentations, or the very casual one-on-one conversations. So they tend to operate as individuals, which means that our pitches ultimately need to be to the individuals. So I thought that was really helpful. And she did say that obviously all of the board members have videos online that talk about their priorities. The other piece that she gave us was some advice on how to make a pitch. So I know Adam's incorporating a lot of those elements in, and we'll do that over time as well. But just showing how much money we've gotten on a historic time frame. And a lot of these are Adam's ideas, so just she agreed with them. But also where we're going, which was something apparently Libby cares a lot about as she talks about her kind of, as she's rolling off, what legacy is she leaving. The money that we've gotten, how we can use the spaces, again, because she cares about, housing and just all of the open space. We've talked to the Economic Commission about that too. Other county data, which was something that Adam brought up, which is, how do we kind of compare to other similar counties? And it's definitely less. And she also tossed out the idea of potentially piloting something. I don't know that that's what we would necessarily pitch, but open to the idea of experimenting, it sounds like. So I really liked that. I thought that kind of advice was very helpful. And that's kind of all I wanted to add.
So yeah, I thought since there's a couple of new people, I would just tell you a little bit about cultural affairs. So we are a division in economic development. We are the largest division in terms of people. We have 13, staff of 13. And that's very unusual, that to find that cultural affairs is the largest division in an economic development department. So I give you that. We are divided into functional groups within the division. We have public art is under me. Angela Adams reports to me. Cultural development and programming is under Josh Stoltzbus, who many of you know. He programs the Jazz Fest in Roslyn and the Blues Fest in Columbia Heights and the not Columbia Heights, Columbia Pike. And then the Lover Run Summer Music Festival. So music programming is really his area of expertise. Arts Enterprise and Shared Studios is Joan Lynch. So she oversees the scene shop, and we also have shared studios in ceramics, printmaking, and textiles. Those are all for more professionally based artists, and those are membership programs, which is currently housed at the Lee Studios on Langston Boulevard. But the other half of this building, which was vacated by DPR, is undergoing a renovation. So those studios will now be based on that side of the building. It's going to be really beautiful. The bids are out for a construction firm to do that, so the designs are complete. And that should be available to move in early 2025, about a year from now. Yes, spring of 2025. And finally, our facilities and tech services, which you are probably most knowledgeable about it because you liaise with arts organizations. They're all performing arts organizations, so they use our theaters, our scene shop, and the resources that you guys all know pretty well. I also wanted to point out that in your packet there was a arts and culture strategy which was developed by the Arts Commission. What year was that, Tina? Because you were involved. It was
2017.
2019. Here it is, right here, 2019. So the work we do in cultural affairs is tied to each one of these goals, or one of these goals, one or more of these goals. There are 5. And I encourage you to look at the full strategy when you have a chance. It's online. It's actually in the Arts Commission.
I'll bring some down.
Yeah, thank you.
It's online.
Finally, not finally, because I have a couple other things, but the report, I always give you a director's report. This is what we're doing for the month, and it gives you by each functional group what's happening in every area. So as Sonali and Alyssa on the Public Art Committee, they're going to be working with Angela and her team as staff. So Public Art Committee is actually created by the Public Art Master Plan, the Public Art Policy. And you mentioned comp plan, so the Public Art Master Plan is part of the comp plan. It is a sub-element of the Public Spaces Master Plan, which is itself is one of 13 elements of the comp plan. And I'm glad you brought that up because actually the county board and manager are looking at the comp plan and how it's constituted and looking at different ways it might be, tweaked to make it more user-friendly, and because it's very difficult. When you go to, I only know because I've been working here 9 years, but when you go to look at the comp plan, I wouldn't want to read through it. I know what's in it, but it's very difficult to, as somebody who doesn't know, about these various subject matters, how to get through it. So they're trying to make it more user-friendly. The last thing on the budget, just so you know, as you all probably know, commercial markets are depressed. Office space is over 20% vacancy rate. That has a direct link to the amount of revenue that comes in the county. Half of our revenue comes from commercial property tax, half comes from residential property tax. And if one of those is out of balance, there are going to be problems in the budget. So this year, each department had to come up with 5% cuts. That includes 2 positions that are in the county manager's budget to cut from AED. They are not in cultural affairs, but I've just given you a sense of the environment that you're operating in. So it's not a good year, and I really like what Susan said about anything you can tie to priority areas that the county is concerned about. Affordable housing, climate, environment, things like that. If you look at how to use those priority areas or how arts fit in with that, that's a good thing to be looking at. And that's just my little tip for today. I think that's it. Oh, and the work session, March 7th, that you'll be appearing, and that's when AED gives their budget overview, so you'll be able to see that if you'd be interested. Thank you.
And there's a recording on YouTube, like there'll be a recording of it on YouTube, so you can go to the parts that are important to you.
No, watch it.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a full day, right?
Yeah, we go with Department
Yeah.
of Tech Service.
Our block is like.
It's changed over the years, so I don't know who you're with.
Yeah, there's a couple of departments that go each work session,
Yeah.
and then the Associated Commission chair will go as well.
There's like a 3-hour block that included
Yeah.
a lot of these.
Yeah.
Adam, do you have everything you need from me for that?
No, but I'll talk to you.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah, we're in good shape, but I'll definitely be talking to you this week.
Okay. Sounds good.
One other thing. So, I'm sorry. AED is doing a strategic planning exercise with our new director, Ryan Toohill. And along with that, Ryan is looking at all the divisions, including cultural affairs. He's met with a number of arts organizations to get a sense of what their needs are, where they're stuck, and he's done that. He did that in the fall of 2023. So the strategy for AED is ready to go to print, and he's going to start introducing that next month. So you may want to bring him in one of your meetings in May, maybe, to get an overview of how that's going to work. And then the county budget path will be adopted April 20th.
I had something that I thought of with that, but I don't remember. Oh, Ryan met with all of the grantees, actually. I think there was one group that didn't respond, but when I was tracking it, he had scheduled appointments with all of them. So, so just know that they've been heard. They were given a voice and they have been heard. And he really is very interested in what they had to say. So
I heard from one of my grantees too. They were really appreciative of that.
yeah, he's great. Yeah.
He's fantastic.
Yeah. So yeah, everybody who had, and actually, in addition to that, there were people who were not grantees that year, this last year, and other artists that he did speak to that were on the list that I saw. So I thought that was great also.
Yeah, it's very open.
Yep. Okay, so now me. Okay, vacancies. We have filled some of our vacancies on the commission, but we have additional vacancies now. Gabby resigned today, so so she is no longer. It doesn't fit in her schedule. She won't be able to attend meetings. So now we're back to 3 positions, and we have 2 potential applicants, and so we're just going to work through that and hopefully get those filled in the next month or so.
Also on the public art pavilion,
Yes.
and there are 3
Yep.
positions.
2 positions.
So we'll keep our eye on someone who'd be
Yeah.
good, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so I was gonna send an email out to say who's interested, and they'll have to speak with Angela, and then Adam will put them forward to Angela for that. So yeah, I had that on my list. More to come on that. So if you know people, it's always good to have people in the pipeline. It looks like we don't have any vacancies that would be coming up for a while. So Catherine, who also would have finished her term, has decided to stay for another term. So,
Yay.
so
the next set is not until September, where it would only be first terms that are ending. So we would just need I can't believe that is, and Adam, and then Stephanie, and Stephanie. So those are just first terms. So you can continue, and then we'll keep an eye. Josh isn't able to be here tonight, but he expressed that there's potentially a move in his future. So his seat would be another seat that we just want to keep an eye on, just in case we need to fill that. So with that being said, we have Gabby's roles to fill. And since Sonali is finished on the 31st of March, we'll have Sonali's also her role with Avant-Garde, and then Opera Nova was with Gabby, and Sean Dudley was with Gabby. So because we have 3 new commission members, it might be nice to make them the liaisons for those groups. So Adam, if you have like a preference, we can talk, when we talk about the other things, we can make those decisions and then do the introductions after. Okay. All right, so that is that. Let me go back to the agenda because I have other things. Okay. Updated email list. Now it's re-updated. I've already emailed it to you. Sorry.
You mean we get to know who Emily is?
Yeah, sorry. That's why you didn't get the thing. I pulled everything from the one place, so I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about that. So you already have the new email list. I've already sent it to you. The grant timeline, that's attached. So, so we're not starting anything really, with the exception of like developing the guidelines based on the current policy, because policy has not been changed. So we'll work on that for the next like 6 weeks. And then there will be no announcement about the grant program until after the board adopts the budget, because on the off chance we don't know what kind of funds we have, it's not really fair to the artists to do a grant program. I've always felt that way, so I'm really glad that we finally made this this shift. And so
it took 3 years.
It really took 3 years to get to this point, so it's been a process. So we also need to fill positions on the grant committee because we had a vacancy. Normally, to our new friends who just joined us, normally we ask that new members join the grant committee because it really gives you that experience of working or meeting all the grantees or understanding about them, because you get to read their grant applications. So does anybody have any reason why they wouldn't want to be on the grant committee? Is there, well, you know, you could talk to me separately about it if there's any, and we do allow you, I know like certain people, like you work with a grantee, you would just recuse yourself from that. You'd be able to read the grant application, but like
I do for National Chamber Ensemble, and you'll do for Jane Franklin.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you're a liaison to a group, you recuse yourself, but you can still read and you can still talk about them in the scoring, like when we meet for scoring, but you just can't score them yourselves. So we have a nice little document you sign from the county attorney on that. Okay, so we can, I'll just send out some information on that and try to put together another doodle poll so we could try to get together, Catherine. We were all so busy last month, but this is actually better now that we have a full group of people. And then one other thing. Getting back to. Nope, I guess that was it for me. Yeah.
Can you send the groups and the liaisons one more time?
Absolutely. Why don't you let Adam and I talk tomorrow?
Right.
We can
hash
place
it all out
everything and then I'll resend everything out. Yeah.
Okay. I think
No problem.
Thank you.
I had a quick question too about the other individual artist grant, the artist in residence grant. It sounds like we are not.
That's not, yeah, that's an NEA grant, yeah.
Okay.
That's me.
Oh, okay.
Well, we have a couple of readers. Are
Yeah.
you talking about the NEA grant?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's not, yeah, you guys don't worry about those guidelines we
we decided those guidelines, and that's
I wrote that.
yeah.
Yeah, but it is something that will benefit the new space, this performing space, 2,700. So we have the 3,700 shared studios, that's a capital project. The other capital project, I'm pointing here, even though you don't know what I'm pointing to. There was 2 buildings that were purchased by the county, they've been raised, and there will be a nice performing space outside. These grants that I wrote are for using that space in an experimental way, and also to promote equity and diversity, so.
So if you know anybody. Well, I'm asking, I had an artist reach out to me who's interested in learning more and applying for the grant.
Have them email me.
Okay.
And I've been having calls. I had 2 calls last week about the grant. So yeah, and the application is like pretty straightforward. And so yeah, what kind of art is it? Is it performance?
It's actually also Adam Henry.
Oh,
Yeah, so he knows, so he kind of is performance in the sense that he can do, the sketches on while people are there and stuff.
You just tell him to fill that out.
Yeah.
I've already spoken to him about it.
Yeah, Adam gets around, by the way.
Yeah,
He does.
He's great. He talks
He's
to everyone.
everywhere right now.
Yeah.
I love that about him.
I
Yeah,
do too.
just tell him to fill it out. He and I had a conversation a couple months ago about it, so I don't know, like,
Yeah.
maybe he just forgot, but,
Yeah.
but
Or
yeah,
have him call Sharon.
Yeah, absolutely.
or email me first and we'll
Yeah.
set it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Will do.
Or he may stop in with an elephant.
Exactly.
So he.
A giant
He came
elephant.
with an elephant head.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I opened my door.
Just
and my
a normal day, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, why is there an elephant?
Like paper mache or?
It was
A lot of out of cardboard and
Oh,
wood.
it was really awesome, actually.
was so awesome.
Super cool.
Oh my
He's
God.
just the nicest human being.
Yeah.
And his son's an artist too,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, like really cool.
If anyone's interested in seeing his work, he's actually currently the artist in residence down at HQ2.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Got a couple.
Yeah, so I
couple
think
things
that
on display.
closes,
Nice.
it's open for, I think it closes next weekend. But I'm going this Saturday morning if anyone wants
It does have
to
weird hours.
pop
It's like-
by.
It
It
weird
has
hours,
strange
but,
hours.
But he's got some of his cardboard constructions in there.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
amazing.
Great sketch of Michelle.
Yep. He made like a giant cardboard gorilla too that's practically life-size. It's really
It's amazing.
Yeah.
She did a giraffe.
No, you don't say that.
I'm not gonna
Don't
say it
say
because it'll be
Let's
standing in
get
my
him on the
office.
commission. Why doesn't he serve on the commission?
I know, I also actually
wants to get
told
the
him
grant
he
first.
should do that,
Oh,
but
okay.
because
But he should
he's
apply for a
interested in the
grant.
grant.
All right.
Yeah.
First things first, yeah.
Yeah, he should really apply for a grant.
But he is
So
actually
talented.
interested in being a commissioner at some point.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
Yeah.
but let him get one grant first.
Yeah,
Exactly.
definitely.
He's super talented.
Sharon, so
Okay, good, please.
So this year, are we just, Catherine probably knows this, but it's just the regular grant this year? There's no place grant, there's no
That's all.
other individual artist
Not
grant?
that I've been
one-time
made
grant?
aware that we have any additional funding for.
Okay, and what?
215,000.
$810.
Right, so while we've talked about that amount, is there any chance we can raise that amount before, like, is there anything we could do?
I mean,
Is there anything
We're
we could
losing
do?
2 positions. in our
Yeah.
department.
I'm still asking the question. It's
Well,
like,
you go, I'm just giving you the facts.
well, no, and I appreciate that. That's why I asked, because I didn't know that.
I think you
That-
can,
that
I
is-
think you
You
can
can
ask,
always.
you can always ask for it.
I
I'm
mean,
just
because
trying
we're
to
so
find-
far behind, we.
Oh, yeah.
We all know that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, hopefully, like, yeah, so I'm.
I would never
I have a
discourage you from
different
that.
view on that, but I won't discourage you. You should ask for everything.
Always.
The amount has been the same for how many years, Adam?
well,
People have dropped out, so actually the amount.
I had organizations thank me for closing my company because I took a piece of the pie, and then the pie I took, when I went away, there was a little more pie to share.
That's what's been going on.
Right. But the pie hasn't grown for how many years?
it's really 2010. I mean, from 2005 on, it's been about the same. It went up as high as $270,000 in 2007, 2010, and then has been at this funding level for about
Yeah.
12 or 13.
And then we've gotten like
So,
like they had the match grant, remember the match grant, Tina? They were.
Those were great.
Those
Yeah.
match
Yeah.
And
grants
there
and then.
might be an argument for that, because
That's what I'm trying to get to. Like,
Right,
how can we get
because-
another something?
they have
That's okay.
provided different monies throughout the years for different initiatives and, to what Susan said about their interest in, what can you do? What can you offer?
Yeah.
Like bring ideas to the table and maybe.
I think you gotta bring something new to the table. not-
That's really helpful. So that was like, so we can't maybe get more for this pie.
I agree, because that's how you got the
The place grants.
100,000.
Yeah.
And this, so I don't want those
Yeah.
to go away. That was a lot of money. We did a lot of good.
Yeah.
With these smaller grants to how many organizations did we grant? What?
Like
Those place.
Yeah, like
the place.
6, yeah,
It
right.
was more than that, wasn't it?
The-
It seems like.
There are a lot of applicants.
There were a lot of applicants.
Yeah, but we had churches, we had all sorts of,
We had
like, we had
everything, yeah.
everything. It was amazing.
So I think
So-
like that's just like any grant you would apply for. I mean, you don't get an NEA grant for doing the same work. The only reason that we get any money from NEA is for something really different.
Yeah.
So and I think the board would be responsive, especially if it involves affordable housing, equity. You've got to think like what are
How about all
their
that
priorities?
empty office space that's sitting
Well,
out there? I know
you're on
Ryan
the right,
Tujil.
you are on the right track.
Yeah.
So here's an idea. So we have the CMRI, the Commercial Market Resiliency Initiative, with how to use empty office space, right? So you're not gonna get that space for free.
I
But
understand.
I would say that one of the things that I think would be great is to have a fund to help people turn those, to help them fit it out. And this is where, if you talk to Arlington Artists
this idea.
Alliance, that they did this in Clarendon, where they had a which is now
Yep.
Colony Pizza.
Yep.
They invested $100,000 in that space, where I think they were there 18 months. It's a lot of money for short term. But because it was so novel, they got people behind it.
They did.
We didn't fund that. That came from their donors, it's something new and different. So that's,
Match grants were great.
that's where you're
it
gonna get
just-
some excitement, is something like that.
So we-
And
I could see that over a match grant, by the way. Like I could see
Okay.
what Michelle's talking about, or like
fits in with a priority.
specific over them giving money for a match grant.
Right. So how would you name this? Like what,
I would,
and do we
don't
hear
say
that?
it came from me.
No,
I'm not coming from, I'm just telling you that that's the track I would take. And talk to the the Alliance, because they did it in Clarendon. They were successful.
Right.
And
I'll
use
go with
that
you,
as an example.
Good example.
Yeah. But we need to create the idea, right? We need to generate it. So right.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm bringing it up, because I'm just one
You're on
measly
Yeah, you are
brain.
definitely on the right track. So I would say that's where you would get into it.
Yeah, I don't see them, they're not gonna up the 215, 810 right
Okay,
now,
so-
but I could see other money coming. Like we
Right.
got an extra $100,000 last year. That was great.
I know, so let's do it
So I
every
think-
year and have a new idea
Have a
every
new
year.
idea.
Because otherwise,
And by the
we
way,
won't get the money.
If you do a successful idea, like what I did was the NEA grant was based on the success of, was it the impact? Sharon has to help me with the acronym. What was
Aware.
it?
Aware.
Aware. I used that success to get additional money.
Uh-huh.
From the
So-
NEA, and that's how we were able to do
So,
the artists and residents.
so if you're hitting that, office vacancy, pandemic related stuff that's still happening, equity, affordable housing, social justice, hit those topic areas and you have a much greater chance.
I mean, the empty office space, Ryan Tujil, when I met him personally, long time, that's his focus. I mean, we've got this all,
Yes.
so let's use some space, because we hear from artists, they
Yes.
don't have space. We know we need a theater. So, I think it's a great match. If we
It is a
can,
great match. I do think that is a short-term game.
for this year,
Because the idea is that they don't want to have this vacant space that way for the long term. Not just for the year, but
I would
short term,
buy a
meaning
building.
like 5 years.
Yeah.
Right, so they're gonna have a plan to either get rid of or use that space to generate tax
Talk
revenue.
to the bids
Okay.
too.
Oh, and the bids, yeah.
The
I wanna
bid.
talk to
Yeah.
the bids.
Try to work with the bids too, because, yeah, that's a great idea. I only am half jesting about
I hear you.
viability, because while the commercial, values are depressed, it is time to buy. That's what investors are doing now. And so, it's like, with artists, it's either you have to constantly move, or you invest in where you are for the long term, or you're gonna keep moving out and out. That's just the way it happens. So it's really about real estate. So you're onto something good there, I think.
On the list.
Okay.
I'm writing this down too, but these are things that we've been talking about, so I'm excited that that's consistent with what we've been talking
Oh,
about.
yeah.
Speaking of grants, could we do our little committees reports if there are any and start? Grants?
Yes, well, we met and separately, Alyssa made notes to suggested edits and changes to the eligibility section of the grants. And we sent that to Sharon. I didn't prepare to bring it to share it with everyone. I wasn't sure that was something that was appropriate to share with everybody yet because it's
Okay.
still in these are our suggestion stage.
You sent
Okay.
me something?
Yeah, we worked on it.
I know it was an online document, but I think I also
Good
cut and
Adam
pasted the
sent
links.
You're talking about the.
No, I sent it to Adam,
Yeah,
my
you-
fault.
Oh, okay, I was like, I don't have.
This is-
Adam got it.
Adam got it.
This is one part of the policy letter on arts funding. So that's one section of the bigger document.
The update, yeah.
So yes, I got that, and that's gonna just go into all these other pieces. As a whole. So that's one piece.
I was hoping we could, have it at our next grants committee meeting, assuming it's okay with you, because I think you have a lot of input to this, Sharon. Use that to perhaps tweak the guidelines for this session of grants,
As long as it's within the current policy as it stands, then that's fine. If it's outside of that, then we can't.
Okay, so we should have a meeting about that, and I think I need to rely on you to be part of that.
So if you, I have to be.
Yeah, I mean, I should have said rely on you to maybe start the ball rolling with which dates you're available, and then we'll invite the rest of us.
Yeah, if you could send me what it is that if you have that in mind of things that you already want to tweak, send that to me in advance of a meeting so that I don't come and not have information back for you.
So far, we have not meant to talk about
it's
tweaks,
what
we just
Adam
talked
said.
about that
What-
eligibility
what he
section,
got.
which I'd like to
He
play into
sent,
the tweaks.
And then
Why don't I make sure I
Send
send
that
you the
to me.
eligibility section?
And then
I think it was a
I can
live
get that
document.
clear,
I
because
didn't
that's
get
something
that,
that
but
doesn't
I-
come from
Yeah.
cultural affairs, that comes from the county attorney. So,
I can send that to you right now.
as well as best practice in grant.
I think I
Yeah.
can send that to you right now.
If not, it's fine, you can send it to me tomorrow or tonight, whatever, that's fine.
Public art.
Public art is actually gonna meet.
Yay.
Okay, just for
Doesn't
context.
happen that often.
Sorry. Just for context for new members, the Public Art Committee is supposed to meet every 2 months, so it's a bi-monthly event, but it only meets when there are voting items, so we often don't meet. So we haven't met for a little bit, but we do have a meeting on March 6th at 7 p.m. in this building, in the other room. And there are some interesting things on the agenda. Everybody is always welcome to attend. And the artist or the art piece that we were talking about for the government center is going to be presented. So you're welcome to provide feedback and whatnot. Also a couple of artist selections for 2 projects. And so I think, and then there'll be other updates. So, and especially if you're interested in joining the Public Art Committee, I think this would be a great opportunity to learn a little bit more about it.
If you're
learn a
interested in
lot.
that, please email
I
me.
mean, if you guys are involved already, the film people that come in, like artists that are on that committee, they really learn a lot too about public art for their own practice.
Engagement Committee?
Well, we met on the 13th of February. Again, we are also kind of on the every other month plan. And we were tasked with updating one of the parts of the policy document. In this case, it was the goals section, which Adam had suggested we base on the Enriching Lives goals. Makes sense. It's much more recent. So that's what we did. And so we basically just edited those for the purposes of this document. And you have
That's
that
great,
copy.
yeah,
So-
thank you. That's great.
So that was our little task, and we got it done. We're small but mighty committee, and we just tackled it and got it done.
And has Jim come to the?
Yes, he did. Jim Byers, the marketing director, who he's great to have
Okay.
around because he's such a great resource. Yeah.
He's their person. I don't go to that meeting.
Great.
I forgot one thing after.
And we'll have to meet again in a couple of months. We haven't figured out
We're
when.
meeting March 6th.
Griha?
So we met in January, and I don't think we haven't talked through this since then. Well, I guess it's February, wow. It's fine, we're gonna ignore that. So basically, yes, thank you, slightly better. We spent most of the meeting talking through ideas for Adam's pitch tied to equity. So we really focused on who from the AWARE grant and the PLACE grant and the bonus questions could we ask, which of our grantees would be able to give some good stories. So we identified a couple. I believe you've had a chance to talk to them.
Several of them, and just to figure out that, so Sushmita was the one that was going to be a great example of somebody that's
good.
incorporating space and equity in art.
Yeah.
So getting a testimonial from her will be very impactful this way.
Which is wonderful, and we want to have some success stories and some data that we're going to pull. We started talking about what are some of the data points from PLACE specifically that would be relevant, and for AWARE, just to get a sense of like, we get so many applicants, we can't give them all money as much as we'd love to, demographic information, some comparisons as we talked about. And yeah, just getting into the testimonials. So we meet again next week. I don't know if we can help you with some things in the process.
Yeah, that's probably what we'll do.
But we'll help you. We can help you workshop the whole thing. I think the day before your presentation. So anyone's welcome to join if you'd like. Yeah, that's what we talked about, and that's where our focus is for now.
So Griha and Adam, Susan Cunningham is all about impact. She wants metrics, she wants numbers. This is what I heard for our own budget presentation, so I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah, there was one other comment she made was showing like a visualization of a timeline or like actual things, but not only just the past, but like maybe even projections.
Yeah, she likes data.
Right.
Yeah, we have a fair amount of that, so that should be good.
And if you need any other data.
I've been getting information from lots of sources with like real data. Lucy and Tina had friends as well, so I feel like there's gonna be more than enough to.
And
Yeah,
you know,
for 5 minutes, for however long.
you know,
So your 3 minutes?
ChatGPT is awesome.
Sorry?
ChatGPT is
Oh.
awesome. And if you don't have the paid version, I do.
Oh, okay. That's where you can get like the art and the graphics in it.
Go write your report.
Yeah.
Data that's not.
Right. You want inaccurate facts. You want alternative facts.
Give it the real reference.
I was teasing.
Is there anything else?
Just last thing, Josh has agreed to be co-chair of the equity committee for as long as we have him. So, yeah. All right, that's it. Thank you.
And executive committee did not meet. We plan to meet next month before.
Whenever we decide when that meeting's gonna be. I'll
Either
send
the
out.
20th, 21st, or
It's not gonna be the 21st,
the 20th. Probably 20th.
unless Michelle's gonna cover the Arts Commission meeting for me, so I'm on an airplane.
Oh, where you go?
I'm going to Indianapolis for
Indianapolis.
30 hours for a meeting. Yeah, so I'll I'll be off that Friday, Michelle. You already approved it. Oh, I actually forgot one thing.
Your updates on local projects and meetings.
Yeah, unless anybody has that. I will be sending out also another doodle poll for onboarding for our new commission members. So once Adam and I figure out liaisons and everything else like that, I'll send everything out. I'll send you a packet as to what your real responsibilities are, everything about all the committees and what their charges are, and then all of the meeting dates. But right now, just know the meetings for your future planning until everything is sent to you is the last Wednesday of the month, with the exception of, I guess, next month, because we're going to change it. And then we don't meet in August. The only month we don't meet. I think it's the only month we don't meet.
January is the party.
In January, we like to have a New Year's party. That's it.
Updates on local projects and meetings, that was an update on our meetings.
So that was a line item that stemmed from like the Langston Boulevard. And so if anybody is a member of their civic federation or civic association, I mean, things like that would go under that.
Which we do not have, so, great. Old business, new business.
I have a potential, I don't know if it counts as new business. It's a new idea, maybe, similar to kind of what Lucy was saying before. It's mostly just, I would love all of your feedback on if this is something we're pursuing or not. I live along Columbia Pike, and one of the things that's happening with all the new development is the implementation of all of the bus stops that I know Angela had a hard-fought battle to get a very beautiful artistic roof on top of all of them to kind of embed more arts along Columbia Pike, which is a place that doesn't see a lot of arts in Arlington. And it gave me an idea of that I don't know if it's possible or not. But if we could kind of think of each of those as like a little mini art gallery along Columbia Pike, to reach a new audience of both Columbia Pike, but also I ride the bus every day. There's lots of places. I think they're already implementing little things where they'll be putting the bus schedule just kind of sandwiched between glass. And I don't know if all of that real estate is spoken for by the bus schedules. But if there was the possibility of being able to highlight just a very simple, cheap to print of artists' work in Arlington to kind of just pepper it throughout the Pike. One of the ones I was thinking of that would be an easy first artist to highlight could be the Columbia Pike documentary project with Lloyd Wolf, for those of you who are familiar. Yeah. Just because that's Columbia Pike specific, but it could turn into something where it would be like a rotating way to highlight artists. I don't know if this has legs. I don't know how much red tape would be in my way.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm even allowed to pursue this as a commissioner.
It's more of a program.
Yeah.
And if it changes something about how things are displayed within the artwork, this is something that Cynthia always drilled into us, is that that's not how the artist intended the art to look. So I actually love the idea of highlighting artists around that, but I'm not sure that the bus shelter could have anything added to it based on the artist.
So there's a couple of now I don't want to say problems. Here are the challenge. Here are the challenges. So if the money it's part of that intermodal work done on Columbia Pike, which has taken 10 years or whatever it's taken. So you've got federal, state, and local money going into it. Federal money doesn't allow, I believe, any there's something to do with advertising and what's considered advertising. Also, there's maintenance issues, having stuff on. I don't want to discourage you from putting out ideas.
Yeah.
Continue to think of them,
Yeah.
but I'm just thinking of the challenges and also from a programmatic perspective, that's gonna fall on staff.
Mhm.
And we don't have that capacity
Sure.
right now.
Mhm.
But we do develop our work plan, and so I would say put a pin in it for now. But as Ryan unfolds his strategic plan and how he sees the future with cultural affairs, tourism, and all the other units of the department, it's something that you should put your voice to, because it could be something that could be done just like we did. What is the program in the bus?
Yeah, art on the art bus.
Art on the Art
Art
Bus,
Bus.
which Cynthia Connolly she did that
Right.
like a grassroots thing.
Amazing program.
So
Yeah.
I don't want to discourage you. I'm just saying like, it's gonna take some work to even figure out how or if it can be done.
Yeah.
But if you would put like your idea into a question
And send it to me and
please-
I can get it to the right people, like
Yeah.
a Cynthia or like an Angela, especially, it's something that like I was thinking of it more from the adding another folder, like glass folder or something, it just
That is what- yeah.
changes that piece of the artwork, and so, but if you have something else, like Michelle said.
But it is the idea of continuity and taking what already exists there and figuring out how to enhance it even more. And I love the idea of doing more programming along Columbia Pike. This is something we're all thinking of as well, and how we can do that. So definitely keep that idea and put that's, and the other thing is there's a transportation commission, so you might wanna, sit in on one of their meetings and even ask the question there.
Sure.
Like this commission liaison work, I think had started with Anika, right? Or who started?
No.
Before?
When you came along.
Oh, it was
You-
me?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
My biggest fan, that's why you're here, really.
Well, when you came on, you started the art on the bus. Like, that was part of your sort of thing. You reached out to transportation and sort of,
That was Cynthia,
you and Cynthia both,
Yeah.
right? And made that happen. So, yeah, and then we did something with AED, with, the
Economic development, yeah.
And we created all these reports and
Right.
blah, 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 blah.
But, so I think like it really helps to though get to see how other commissions work that have, because it's all connected,
Overlap,
especially when you're talking about along, easements, bus shelters, bus transportation. It's a good, just to find out what is the right channel.
Yep.
Or if they're even interested, because you would have to have their approval as
Yes.
well.
And all the bus shelters aren't even finished yet, so
That's right.
yeah.
But they're getting there.
Yes.
It's getting there.
Yes. Does anyone else have any other discouragement or challenges or encouragement?
I don't want to
of any kind?
discourage, but.
No, I know, I appreciate any feedback anyone has or who to talk to, or just don't do it. I don't know.
It sounds like such a fun idea, and it reminds me of something I haven't seen in Arlington, but I've heard about, which are little free art galleries. We have a lot of little free
Yeah.
libraries. We
Yeah.
have.
There is
yeah.
one in Arlington.
There is? Where?
Yes, she used to work for Cultural Affairs. What's her name with the curly hair?
Yeah.
Stacy Schwartz.
Right, I know her. She's
Oh.
Stacy Schwartz
Oh.
has a little free art gallery. Hold on, I'll tell you
This is
where
a
it is.
product of her.
That's a
master's.
great
The group that folded, the Arcanists, did something really similar before. I've never heard of it anywhere else. They did performances, but they also did little random art installations, and some of them actually looked like a little box and a stick.
She should join.
I love the idea of.
She lives in our neighborhood.
She's
Nice.
awesome. Yeah, I've been to her house before.
I'm
She's
so
really
sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
They were,
She was just featured on something through the George, because that came out as a result of her
If you-
thesis for George Mason, a degree at George Mason.
Oh, that's a
So,
great idea. Oh, interesting.
Are you on Instagram?
I am, not that I use it often enough.
But it's free little art gallery _Arlington. I don't have her address, so I don't even know what street it's on.
She lives in Dominion Hills.
It's adorable. She's awesome. We need to ask her.
Where is
Yeah,
it?
get her on the commission.
Where is it?
I don't remember, what neighborhood is
In
it?
Dominion Hills.
I think you're right. I've been to her house before. I hung out with her a couple times.
If we're not on Instagram or
No, I-
SOL.
Google
would
it.
know you to it.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm Googling something and I don't mean to go on Instagram.
Are you on
It takes me-
Facebook?
Yes.
She even has stickers that you could take. If you just go to, like, just look up like free little art gallery, hashtag, like, look up the hashtag, like,
Yeah.
free little art gallery,
Okay.
Cool poster.
Arlington.
Like written down.
Okay.
She was on the podcast with Janet Copenhaver on January 26th. So just go to her website. Yeah, that's her. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Dominion
She's on
Hills.
North Longfellow Street between 9th Road and 10th Street in the Dominion Hills neighborhood.
That's your hood, huh?
That's like next door hood, or Madison Manor.
I thought you said North Longfellow Street one.
Yes, North Longfellow Street between 9th Road and 10th Street.
I'm gonna tell her to fill out an application for the arts.
Yeah.
She's super cool.
It's like a good.
She used to work for us. Remember her? She did like media. Oh, you know what? It was Artisphere before you came. She's awesome.
Yes.
Sorry. Every day I see Josh.
Before we close up, I just want to say, I just want to tie us back to our community, and this is the last 2 days of Black History Month, so I'd like to just raise my voice to a local Black history element, which is Dorothy Ham. So Dorothy Ham, I learned about her recently. You hear her name, she's named after a middle school here, but she was a civil rights activist, poet, also playwright, and she was born like in the early 1900s, but she was one of the key part of integrating schools in Arlington. In fact, was as a result, Arlington School, the Stratford School, was the first school in all of Virginia to be integrated, largely because of her efforts. She also fought for integration in theaters in Arlington, which I found very interesting. So she was a big part of the beginning of integration in Arlington theaters. So that's pretty amazing. And so she died in 2004, and in 2019, they named the school after her here. So just take this opportunity, maybe the last day or two of Black History Month, to find something that's meaningful as it relates to our community and the arts especially, and just keep that in mind. So I would, after that, I'd like to call this meeting to adjournment. And thank you all for being here.
Oh, for sale?
I would, but half of our committee is married, Josh and Stephanie.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's okay. Good idea.